Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel, and today I am super excited to talk with you about all the books I want to read during the month of April. So this month of April, and honestly this entire year, I feel like is going to be a little bit chaotic. I have so many events this year. I will probably have 5 weddings, and either me or my husband or both of us will be in almost all of them. So we have quite a lot of traveling up north that we need to do this year, mostly over the spring and summer, and we've also had a lot of people come and stay. So all that to say, as you'll see in my upcoming Q1 book review, I am not quite meeting my TBR goals, which I am so hard on myself about that. I want to be reading everything I tell you I'm going to be reading during a month. And because I have been feeling a little bit overwhelmed lately, I feel like that has caused me to go into a little bit of a reading slump just because my days are pretty full and then I don't really feel like reading that much at night. So to try to get back in the flow of things, get a little bit more excited about reading, I decided to make this month a month of rereads. When I was a kid, I used to reread books so often. Some of my favorite books I probably have read between 20 and 30 times, and now as an adult and as a person with access to pretty cheap books, I have a lot of shelf space, and as they say, buying books is a whole separate hobby from reading them. I probably will always have a never-ending amount of books on my TBR, and because of that, I haven't reread a book in a really long time. And some books I do think are better for rereading than others, but I have picked out 5 to 9 books, I'll explain in a second, but I picked out these books that have kind of been jumping out at me, and I'm excited to share them with you. So that was a long-winded intro, but just kind of wanted to give you an update about how I've been feeling about reading, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, of course, during my Q1 book review, where I do have a lot of books to talk about, so that'll be coming out soon. But the reason I said 5 to 9 books is we'll just kind of see how this month goes, because I have 2 trilogies here, and I would like to read at least the first book in each one, but I may also read the first one and then want to just read all 3 in the series. So the first one is a series I have fully read in the past, but it's been a really long time, and that is Brian Jake's Castaways of the Flying Dutchman, one of my favorite covers of all time. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I have this strange love for books that are set on boats, and I think this series is where it all began. It's probably been about 15 years since I've read this book, but when I was in middle school and high school, I read this so much because it's so good. I'm not sure what this is considered. It might be a young adult book. So this follows a boy and a dog who are trapped on a ship. That's all I'll say because I don't know how much is revealed in the beginning of this story. But this book I feel like has everything that I love. We've got a main character that you're rooting for. He has a dog sidekick. It's set on a boat and it is historical. So love this one, but it's been long enough that I forget a lot of details, so I'm excited to reread it. So that first one I read a ton of times, but then the author did come out with 2 other books in the series, and I guess I never really looked more into it. I think there's only 3. So the other books are Voyage of Slaves, and then we also have The Angel's Command. And doesn't Brian Jakes just look like someone you want to adopt as your grandfather? Or he just looks like he should have been an actor. He has that like handsome grandfather look. Brian Jakes is an exceptional author. He wrote the Redwall series. That's probably what he's most famous for. And there are a ton of books in that series. And that is one that I also would like to maybe reread at some point. I absolutely did not get through all of them when I was younger. The Redwall books follow animals who talk and they like have a whole community. And I can't really remember much more beyond that, but there's like wars and politics and like all this kind of stuff, but the characters are animals. And those were ones that I remember my older brother really liked as well. So if you have maybe a middle school or even high school boy who you want to help get into reading, I would highly recommend encouraging them to look into the Redwall series. Okay, so definitely will be reading the first one. I have a feeling I am just going to go ahead and read all 3 of them because they are so good. And then the other series that we'll see if I read all of them or just the first one is the One of Us is Lying trilogy. I have read the first one and I think I did read the second one. I can't remember, but I know I did not read the third one, which is right here. So this has been on my mind of books that I kind of want to get back into, but I haven't made them a priority. And I know there is a show as well. So I want to do a video where I read books and then I watch the movie or series right after. So that's one I'll probably do over quite a long period of time, and then when I have enough footage, I'll make that a video. But I think that could be fun. Let me know if you'd be interested in watching that. But this trilogy is by Karen McManus. She's absolutely one of my favorite young adult thriller authors. Fun, easy reads. I usually read these books in like a day or two, so depending on how much free time I end up having this month, I might have a weekend where I just binge read all 3 of these. But I love books like this where we have this fun cast of characters. It's very much like Breakfast Club vibes. So we've got the brain, the beauty, the criminal, the athlete, and the outcast. Only Simon, the outcast, never makes it out of the classroom where all these kids are having detention. Before the end, Simon's dead, and according to investigators, his death is not an accident. So the other 4 kids are all trying to figure out what happened. So that's the first book, and then don't want to look too much into the other ones, but I think it does still follow all these same characters. Alright, and then another book in a series, we have The Chronicles of Narnia, The Horse and His Boy by C.S. Lewis. I have definitely read this one. My mom said she thinks I did read through all of the Chronicles of Narnia books. She probably read them to me and my older brother. I feel like I only have strong memories of like 3 or 4 of them. So I definitely do want to get through the whole series this year. I read the first 2 in December and January, I think. But they're real quick reads, as you can see. So I think this will be a good one to read just on like a slow evening or a Sunday afternoon or something like that. C.S. Lewis is such an exceptional author. Of course, all of his fiction books are well known and loved, but he also has a lot of nonfiction that is great as well. So I need to get a little bit more on my nonfiction grind, but I know I will be reading a lot of C.S. Lewis's nonfiction this year too. But if you're curious, this particular story, The Horse and His Boy, follows 2 runaways who meet and join forces. Though they are only looking to escape their harsh lives, they soon find themselves at the center of a terrible battle. It is a battle that will decide their fate and the fate of Narnia itself. So even though this is the 3rd book in the stories, this one was not made into a movie. So they didn't make the first one, The Magician's Nephew, then they did the second one, of course, Chronicles of Narnia, and then Prince Caspian, I think is book like 5 maybe, and then the other one, I always forget its name, is also like another random book in the series. Okay, a couple more. This one, as soon as I finished it, while I was reading it, I was like, I'm absolutely gonna reread it many times in the future, and that is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. If you have started this book in the past and you put it down because you were like, it's just too weird for me, I don't get it, it's too confusing, I beg you to try to read it again, get through it, because it does all come together at the end. But it's been long enough, not really that long, probably like maybe a year and a half, but I have a bad memory. It's been long enough that I do forget a lot of it, so I think I still will enjoy this very much as I'm going through it, and I'll also be able to pick up on things that you just can't understand the first time you're reading it. So it says, Piranesi's house is no ordinary building, its rooms are infinite, its corridors endless, its walls lined with thousands upon thousands of statues. Within the labyrinth of halls, an ocean is imprisoned. Waves thunder up staircases, rooms are flooded in an instant, but Piranesi is not afraid. He understands the tides as he understands the pattern of the labyrinth itself. He lives to explore the house. There is one other person in the house, a man called the Other, who visits Piranesi twice a week and asks for help with research into a great and secret knowledge. But as Piranesi explores, evidence emerges of another person, and a terrible truth begins to unravel, revealing a world beyond the one Piranesi has always known. So yeah, this is a weird one. If you don't like fantasy, maybe don't start with this one, but I do promise that it is good once you get through it. And then lastly, I picked out a book from one of my favorite authors, and that is The Distant Hours by Kate Morton. I've read everything by Kate Morton. I love her. She is like the queen of writing kind of historical mysteries where half the book is set in the past and then the other half is set in like more present day, and the person in the present is trying to figure out the mystery of the past. Kate Morton's writing style, I think, is exceptional. It's perfect. I love every single book that I've read by her, but This is, I think, one of my favorites, and it has been quite a while since I've read it. So this one came out in 2010, and I probably have read this twice before, but it has been a while now. It says, it starts with a letter lost for half a century and unexpectedly delivered to Edie's mother on a Sunday afternoon. The letter leads Edie to Milderhurst Castle, where the eccentric Blythe spinsters live and where she discovers her mother was during World War II. The elder Blythe sisters are twins and have spent most of their lives caring for their younger sister, Juniper, who hasn't been the same since her fiancé jilted her in 1941. Inside the decaying castle, Edie searches for her mother's past, but soon learns that there are other secrets hidden in its walls. The truth of what happened in the distant hours has been waiting a long time for someone to find it. So yeah, if you like historical fiction, if you like mysteries, if you do like some romance sprinkled in, highly, highly recommend this book. I am dying to get into this. This is probably going to be the first one that I do read in April. But alright you guys, that was everything that I'm gonna read during April, and I feel like I'm too excited to read all these books that I've already read, but there is something about returning to a book that you know you loved, you know you're gonna love it again. And like I said, I used to reread books all the time and I stopped doing it, so I need to get back into it. Maybe 2 months a year I will devote to rereading favorites. So this is your sign. Maybe go back to the red shelf and pick something out this month. And if you've never read any of these before, I would highly encourage you to check them out. But if you like this video, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help my channel out a lot. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!